Today on Extraordinaire, we look at a rapper and an opera singer, contrast bodybuilding and yoga, and look at sculptures past and present.
Hello and welcome. I'm Nguyen, your host, and you're watching Extraordinaire, a show where we showcase and contrast two different styles of art forms. First, we introduce two very talented vocalists, one who focuses on rap and the other opera. Listen close as two artists show what music means to them.
I ain't gotta change, I ain't gotta flex. I can go and get it, I know what to expect. I be a direct puppet, I wear a vest.
I just started writing songs, and then from there it was just like as I got older I started noticing that the business and the culture was something that kind of, dragged me in. Music impacted me because it's something that helps me escape for a second. You know what I mean? Like kind of like silence the rest of everything else and just do me and create something. We're creating stuff in here now and I'm like, I can't wait to show people this kind of stuff. So it's just the engagement with people is the most fulfilling feeling. It's just an adrenaline rush. Like I love it, having people react or like sing your lyrics back or just seeing someone smile when you say like a dope line.
Off with his head.
I'm still giving 120%. You know what I mean? Everybody, no matter how many people are in the crowd, they're going to see, a full show done the same way if there was 5 or 25 or 1,000. There's so many people out there. There's so many people out there who just don't want to see people succeed, and it's a dog-eat-dog world. I probably wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for music. I mean, music has saved my life.
It's completely different than anything I'd ever done. Like, I write my own music, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I do a lot of music theater at the same time, but being engaged operatically is just a completely different way of opening yourself up to music. Your instrument is so part of everyone around you. You have to sing with your whole body. You have to use every part of your instrument. The thing that you feel when you're up there is just kind of this abandonment because you're in that moment now and whatever you do up there is what people are seeing. So it allows you to create this almost immediate relationship with a group of people that you can feed off whatever energy they have. Opera, I think in a long term has changed my life because it's opened me up in so many ways to just being a more open person, to being more daring, to taking chances, to really going for things that I'm scared of going for, because when you're singing like that, when you're singing big, you just have to really just let go of all the fear and all of the stuff that holds you back and just let yourself go.
Up next, we show you the art of exercising body and mind. Masters of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and meditation show you how to practice these art forms. Let's check it out.
Jiu-Jitsu, it took me 7.5 years, but I had a background in judo and wrestling as well. Somebody suggested judo, so I tried that, and my judo instructor was always talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I said, well, where can I learn this? And finally found a place in Woodbridge, the Grappling Arts Academy. I started training there. For most people, Jiu-Jitsu, when you start, it's about a 10-year to black belt. Your instructor cannot give you your black belt in judo. You have to go in front of the Ontario Grading Board. People that don't know, and basically I say it's like wrestling with submission holds. Joint lock would be hyperextending the elbow until it breaks. And we have a way we tap to let our partners know we've had enough. And the chokes that we use, not on the trachea so much, more on the carotid arteries on the side. So we cut off the blood flow to the brain. You feel like you're gonna fall asleep, you tap your partner, let them know. If you don't tap, you will go to sleep. After a while, you start to learn how to put together some attacks yourself. I'm gonna do this, he's gonna react either this way or this way. If he reacts this way, I'm gonna do this. If he reacts this way, I'm gonna do this. Then you get to the stage where you're thinking 3-4 steps ahead. And eventually you get to the stage where you're just reacting to what's happening. It's just a natural flow.
The connection to the body and the mind is very important. Basically, whatever we do with our mind and our senses affects our mind or affects our consciousness, and a lot of people aren't very aware of that. When I was younger, I was very interested in meditation, and it just kind of naturally manifested within me. Gora Anga yoga to the full length of the breath. I began teaching it some over 10 years ago, and it's just been a very nice, very wonderful addition to my life. The body is affected by your consciousness or the mind. So if your mind is thinking negative things all the time, or you're very depressed or angry, people are very angry a lot, this anger actually pollutes your body and makes you physically sick as well. So it can be very good for your health to have a much more satisfied consciousness.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Extraordinaire right after this. Stay with us.
After the break, we see yoga's effect on the body
Well, I
and
think
mind,
often people think that
and a look at a tattoo artist's inspiration and process.
Bodybuilding and yoga, two very different ways of disciplining the mind. Let's check it out.
Well, I think often people think that it's a prerequisite to be able to touch your toes, or that you need to have a certain body type in order to do yoga. And at AMA, we're really passionate about making yoga accessible for anyone. So yoga for me is a reminder of like the joy of moving your body. And it's about creating like strength and stability so that from there you can find more freedom of movement and more of an optimal range of movement. After doing a yoga class, I can feel both really like grounded and calm, but also energized. So like one of my favorite things ever is when I look around the room and I've just kind of offered a choice and I see that like every single person is doing something slightly different, because it means they're really like listening to their own bodies and they feel safe doing that. Focusing on your breath helps coax your really busy mind into the present moment, which is calming and helps reduce stress and makes yoga different, I think, from other forms of exercise.
Bodybuilding to me is not only a sport, it's an art, but it's also a lifestyle. I love bodybuilding and it's taught me so many life lessons that I could not have learned from anywhere else. I wake up usually at around 5 or 5:15 a.m. I'm having my first meal. A lot of people will be surprised. I have steak, vegetables, coconut oil, all at 5:30 in the morning. On top of that, I do some posing. Posing is very, very important for bodybuilding. You may have the best physique in the world, but if you don't know how to display it, no judge will ever see that. Getting ready for a competition, those last 2 days can be a little bit tough. You need to manipulate your water intake, your sodium intake, your carbohydrate intake, everything that goes into your mouth essentially is calculated, weighed, and has a purpose. And bodybuilding doesn't mean you have to compete. You can be a bodybuilder and never compete in your life. It just means you want to change and improve your physique through hard work in the gym. And now my goal is to just inspire others and help them see these same changes through myself doing this sport.
All right, let's explore the unknown similarities between oil painting and tattooing. Let's see what they have in store for us.
People like to talk about there being natural born artists, and it sounds silly, but people definitely, you could see the detail in his sketching at a young age. So I'm the artist's sister. I'm actually his younger sister, and we have an older sister, Rebecca, as well. So Jonathan is sandwiched between the two of us, which means we like to do a lot of talking for him. Jonathan built with a lot of Lego, played with a lot of different things, sketched all the time. And if you talk to Jonathan, he's not an artist, he's a painter, and it's something that he does, and he's okay at it. That's my brother, the most modest human being that you'd ever want to meet. He's usually working on about 3 or 4 pieces at a time, just because there is that constant back and forth and drawing in between. By feeding your soul and allowing yourself to take time to actually do what fulfills you. For Jonathan, that might be Lego or being creative. For me, that's going for a walk or making dinner for family or friends. I think it's easy to reflect and look back on where was your happiness as a child, and then try to incorporate some of those simple things into your day-to-day life.
I started tattooing about 5.5 years ago. I didn't want to start tattooing before because I didn't think it was as custom and expressive as it is today. I actually wanted to do other fields of art, but then when I realized getting my first tattoo, just how much creative freedom the artists get, it really pulled me in then. I do take things from a lot of portrait art stuff. I bring in elements of realism and stuff to my art as well. During the consultation process, I get to learn a little bit about the people and kind of put a little bit of them into the art as well as my own style. The most important one, I would say, would be my teapot. It brings in a lot of memories. I had my grandfather with the poppies of him being in the war, and then the teapot, me going there after school every day, making a cup of tea for him and my grandmother. It's rewarding as well when you get to see how much it means to them, especially like tattoos with a ton of meaning poured into them, knowing that they're in love with it and that they're going to take it to the grave. I think it's one of the only forms of art you can really carry with you throughout your entire life.
Don't go anywhere, there's more Extraordinaire after the break.
Coming up next, Jane Tingley shows her sculpture of the future and inside the musical mind of a composer.
Sculpting can take many forms and lots of concentration and creativity. We spoke to Tim Schmalz and Jane Tingley to show how a piece is created.
I've been sculpting for more than 30 years obsessively. Most of my inspiration comes from actually the New Testament. I find that if you have a subject matter that's very powerful, you can basically use it as an endless well of creativity. The veterans piece in Waterloo on University Avenue, I was approached with one request to represent the veterans. I have an aged veteran man sitting in his wheelchair, and he's reaching back and he's connecting with all of the soldiers in the armed forces that fought, died, that are all kind of coming down from the spiritual area to present the veteran to the viewer. That's what I think is really a must for artwork today, is to capture people's attention, capture their imagination, and actually authentically tell a story.
So the piece here is called Anywhere. Anywhere is a distributed sculpture. As you can see, there's these three objects. They do exactly the same thing at the exact same time. Anything you do on any sculpture is happening on all the sculptures, so I guess for all intents and purposes, they are one sculpture. The only unfortunate thing is when you see them in the studio, it's fairly artificial because you'll never ever see the three together. They're designed to be in different parts of the world. So can we imagine a world where humanity and nature aren't divided, but are sort of working together in a joint sort of movement forward? Art tends to be something that's very experiential. It can be very exploratory. It can be very non-defined, and it relies on metaphor and ambiguity in certain ways. I guess I use my art to express my theories of the way the world can be.
DJing events, parties and all that feels great, kind of blissful, you know? Everybody's grooving to your set of tracks. This track here took about 12 hours to complete. Just like minor details, polishing, wax on, wax off kind of thing. But usually how I would start it is main piano melody. And then I'll start building chord progressions, arps and so forth. A lot of my tracks come from my emotions, and I feel like every track is like a part of my soul or something like that. It really depends on how I'm feeling or what's in my mind, what I'm going through at that time. It's something that makes me really happy and forget about like reality. Like, helps me escape.
I've gradually started to become more open to other experiences, other people, so or just other things that I see. Like, it doesn't have to be about my own experience or other people's experience, but you know, nature. I've written a lot of pieces about nature. I wrote a piece about natural disasters. Oftentimes, the challenge with writing is just when you have a block, and I find that that block comes when you're just not inspired enough to write something. Another challenge is if you have an idea, you have to search sometimes for a long time to find that sound, even if it's just one sound that encompasses what you're looking for. Maybe in the future, I'd like to be performing a lot more. I'd like to be performing on different instruments. I'd like to be self-producing albums. I'd like to start arranging classical music for a variety of different instruments, like, you know, taking a piece for violin and arranging it for like banjo and marimba and guitar or something like that. But they're not like goals per se, they're just things I want to do.
Stay with us. We'll be back with more great segments after these messages.
And then we do drills.
Later,
and
two
then
masters of
we
martial
do
arts
freeze
practice their
for
craft.
daily. You don't get
From peaceful movements to high-intense sword training, the Extraordinaire team takes you on a martial art journey to find one's true sense of peace. Let's see what kind of exercises we can learn today.
Tai Chi is a discipline that belongs to martial arts. I really enjoy doing Tai Chi, and I think Tai Chi has been the foundation for my life today. It's a very powerful exercise that I use daily. You don't get tired, you become strong, and you can die old with a lot of energy and vitality. And that's the purpose of Tai Chi and Qigong, that people should know. So you're using this. People say Tai Chi is for old people, and young people don't want to do it. Tai Chi was done by older people, and the way to keep their strength going, they resort to a soft way of moving to empower the inner flow of energy. I think people should, look into themselves and I think plan their future health.
When I do Kendo, I'm always looking to be better than who I was even yesterday. The thing about Kendo is that you never stop doing the basics, but putting them all together at once, that is Kendo. To put together different movements and then put them all at once to make them make sense. We do a warm-up called Taiso. So we do like calisthenics, stretching, and then we do practice swings, suburi. And then we do the bowing in, right? So we bow to each other to give respect to our sensei and to each other. We also do some light meditation after during that time as well. And then we do basics, footwork, more suburi, and then we do drills, and then we do free sparring keiko, then we finish off with bowing out. One of the greats of sword arts, Musashi Miyamoto, he said, be better than who you were yesterday and strive to be better still. And that's what I'm always looking to do. In everything that I do, actually. It's not just Kendo, but in anything of value that I do every day.
Hi, my name is Andy Chia, and I'm a b-boy. Ever since I moved to Kitchener and I've been dancing with some of the Waterloo b-boys, it's been a lot more livelier and you sort of feel really connected with other individuals. I want to carry this passion for b-boying into my later future to be able to pass on to generations. Each one teach one, right? You want to inspire other people to find that passion. Self-care is very important when it comes to that. Conditioning, making sure you stretch is very vital. And I've suffered a lot of injuries from torn ACLs to bruised hips and bruised elbows and stuff. Breakdancing and b-boying has really taught me how to be more confident, taught me how to love more, respect other people more, respect myself especially. And it's really showed me how to really be proud of what I do, you know? It gives me that sense of experience that I really needed to boost me in life, to keep me going higher and higher.
Ballet is just so graceful, and I just think every girl should be pretty, and that's what it's about. Hi, I'm Sarah Payne, and I'm a ballet dancer. My mom put me in dance when I was 18 months old. She said I was always dancing around the house. The confidence definitely increased since I started dancing, and it just helps me to be more social and helps me to be myself. Whether I've had a good day or bad, whenever I come into the studio, I can just let that go and be caught up in the moment. Being injured is so hard because when you see other people dancing, you just want to be up there with them. You want to get back into it. But it helps you to work hard. It's honestly such an amazing feeling. Like, I'm very passionate about it. So when I step into class or step on stage and the music starts, I like to get caught up in it, and it just takes over your body. It's amazing. You have to give 100% anytime you dance because you don't know when you're gonna have to stop.
Hello, it's been a pleasure to be your host for Extraordinaire. We traveled many avenues to find different kinds of art forms, and let me tell you, it was an experience that I will never forget. Again, my name is Nguyen, and I will see you next time. Hey there. Up next, we show you the art of exercising body and mind. Masters of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and meditation show you.
Sorry, also helicopter.
From peaceful movement to high intense sword training, the martial art team takes you on a martial art team. From peaceful movements to high intense sword training, the Extraordinaire team takes you on a martial art journey to find one true sense of peace. Let's kind of see. Don't go anywhere. There's more Extraordinaire. What
was that? A leg.
Sculpture.
Sculpture. All right, that's a good start.
Hello and welcome. I'm Nguyen, your host, and you're watching Extraordinaire, a show where we showcase and contrast two different styles of art forms. First, we introduce Alright, up next, let's explore the unknown similarities between oil painting and oil. What did I say?